the silent protector in a quiet suburban neighborhood in the Midwest, where the gentle hum of life often went unnoticed, lived a proud and strong black family, the Harrells. Marcus Harrell, a seasoned soldier recently back from deployment, had just moved in with his wife, Angela, and their two children, Maya and Elijah. Their new home was a modest but warm one, nestled in a community where diversity was an afterthought, and stereotypes ran deeper than most realized. Marcus had seen the world through different eyes, both as a soldier and as a man who had fought battles not just abroad, but at home as well. He had returned from war, not only with medals and scars, but with a mission: to protect the safety and dignity of his family in a world that had often tried to take both. One afternoon, as Marcus was in the yard, teaching Elijah how to throw a baseball while Angela tended to her garden, a group of teenagers from the neighborhood, blonde, white, and clearly from the wealthy side of town, drove by in their trucks, making loud and hostile remarks. "Why don't you go back where you came from?" one of them shouted. This is a white neighborhood. Marcus's muscles tensed. He was used to such taunts, but it was different now. His family was here, and they deserved peace. His hand instinctively brushed the cool, familiar weight of the rifle slung over his shoulder, a gift from his late grandfather, who had served in a different war. The teens continued their jeering, but Marcus stood firm. The situation was escalating, and it became clear to him that no words would make these teens understand or back off. So, he made a decision, a silent one, without a word. He walked toward the side of his house, calmly heading toward the garage, where his collection of military gear was stored. The teens laughed, unaware that Marcus was only moments away from returning with something that would shift the power dynamics in an instant. As Marcus returned, carrying the rifle, the once confident laughter of the teens faltered. They saw the weapon in his hands. It wasn't the weapon itself that held their attention, but what it represented. Marcus wasn't just a soldier. He was a protector, a father, and a man who wouldn't allow any harm to come to his family. The seriousness in his eyes told them everything they needed to know. There was no anger or threat in his demeanor, just unwavering resolve. The teens, who had come from privilege and had never faced real consequences for their ignorance, suddenly understood the weight of their actions. They froze. The laughter died in their throats. One by one, they stepped back, their faces pale, the bravado evaporating. The one who had shouted the loudest was now speechless, staring at the ground, his face flushing with shame. The others stood frozen, unable to speak. "Is this what you wanted?" Marcus's voice was steady, calm. "A fight? Or do you understand now that this is about more than you and me? It's about keeping my family safe." Silence hung thick in the air, punctuated only by the distant sound of a dog barking in a neighbor's yard. The teens didn't know what to say. They were scared, not of Marcus himself, but of the power that came from standing in front of someone who was unflinching in his purpose. Their privilege had shielded them from many things, but not from the truth that was unfolding before them. Without a word, Marcus turned and walked back to his family. His calmness spoke louder than any confrontation could have. The teens, shaken and uncertain, turned and walked away, their once boisterous confidence replaced with silence. They would never forget the sight of the black soldier protecting his family, the man who didn't need to raise his voice or his weapon to make his point. Marcus returned to his wife and children, his rifle slung over his shoulder. Angela looked up, sensing the tension that had passed through the yard. Marcus gave her a small nod, and Elijah, still clutching the baseball, looked up with wide eyes. "They're gone," Marcus said softly. "I know," Angela replied, wrapping an arm around him. "Thank you for keeping us safe." And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the quiet neighborhood, the Harrells knew that, though the world might never stop trying to test them, As long as they had each other, they would remain unbroken.